say that Oscar Robertson impacted the game might be the biggest understatement of all time. Even as a high schooler, it was clear that he was destined to be a star. He was the league's first example of a big point guard, standing 6'5" and weighing a solid 210 pounds. There was nothing that he couldn't do, as he had elite passing vision, elite handles, a picture-perfect jump shot, and a tenacity on the glass that resembled someone much taller. After dominating at the University of Cincinnati, he was the #1 pick in 1960 by the Royals, so he wouldn't have to go far to start his pro career. Oscar dropped a triple-double in his NBA debut, and this would be a sign of things to come, as he was the epitome of a stat sheet stuffer. He became the first player ever to average a triple-double, and this was in the second season. Oscar had the fundamentals down pat, as he could dominate by simply playing the game the way it was meant to be played. He moved at his own pace, and he welcomed the high-pressure situations. But even with his dominance on the court, the Royals could never compete with the top teams in the league, and a rift between him and Bob Cousy resulted in him being traded to the Bucks after a decade in Cincinnati. He was the perfect veteran for them, joining a young Kareem and helping Milwaukee win a title in 1971. But Oscar wasn't just an excellent player, he was a voice, using his celebrity to advocate for better conditions for his peers. With him as the head of the Players Association, the reserve clause in contracts was eliminated. The ABA merger was delayed for another 5 years, and the beginnings of free agency were established. The Big O was truly one of the best players of all time, and his legendary career deserves a deep dive. Welcome to Piece of Hoops. Let's get down to it. Oscar was born in Charlotte, Tennessee on November 24, 1938. When he was 18 months old, his family moved to Indianapolis, where he grew up in the segregated housing project of Lockville Gardens. He chose basketball over baseball, as it was more popular in his neighborhood due to it being a poor kid's game. He practiced his jumper by using tennis balls and rags wrapped in rubber bands and tossing them into a peach basket. Oscar played at Crispus Attucks High, an all-black school coached by Ray Crow, who emphasized the importance of learning the fundamentals of the game. They didn't even have a gym, and the white schools refused to play them. That was until Oscar showed up. In his sophomore year, Crispus Attucks lost in the state quarterfinals to Milan, a team that was later featured in the movie Hoosiers. His versatility allowed him to play all 5 positions, so as a junior, he led his team to a 31-1 record in the state championship, becoming the first all-black high school to do this. As a senior, Oscar averaged 24 points a game and was named Indiana Mr. Basketball and Mr. Basketball USA. He led the team to an undefeated record in another state title. Even with the bevy of college offers he received, he chose the University of Cincinnati. This Bearcat squad already featured Connie Deerking, Wayne Stevens, and Ralph Davis. But Oscar quickly established himself as a top guy. After a 7-2 start, Cincinnati rattled off 16 straight wins to finish the season 23-2. Oscar led the nation in scoring and led the conference in rebounding. Not just being named the first team All-American, he was a National Player of the Year, averaging 35 points and 15 rebounds on 57% shooting. Cincinnati faced Kansas State in their first tournament game, and Oscar dropped 30 points and 14 rebounds, but they lost by 3 points. They stomped Arkansas in the consolation game, and Oscar exploded for 56 points, 7 rebounds, and 10 assists. The Bearcats added Bob Weisenbach in 1958, but it was all on Oscar again. He dropped an insane 45 points, 23 rebounds, and 10 assists against Indiana State, and they had a 5-game and a 16-game winning streak this season, putting up the 3rd most points in the nation. A 22-3 finish led to Missouri Valley, and Cincinnati was going dancing again. Oscar once again led the nation in scoring, and more amazingly, he was 2nd nationally in rebounds, as he averaged 33 points, 16 rebounds, and 7 assists. The Bearcats faced TCU in the first round, and Oscar dropped 34, 10, and 7 in a 3-point win. He had a triple-double against Kansas State with 24 points, 17 rebounds, and 13 assists. He put up 19, 19, and 9 on California in the Final Four, but he shot 5 for 16 and the Bearcats lost by 6. He redeemed himself in the consolation game against Louisville with 39 points, 17 rebounds, and 10 assists in a blowout win. Even though Oscar was the best college player in the nation, segregation was still alive and well in 1959. Up until his junior year, he had been barred from checking into the hotel rooms with his teammates, being forced to bunk in the visiting college dorm. But despite this looked like Cincinnati's year to finally win it all. They won their first 12 games before finally losing to Chet Walker's Bradley team. This was the only blemish on their record, and they won out the rest of the schedule, finishing the season 24-1 and maintaining the nation's top ranking. Oscar was dominant as usual, averaging 34 points, 14 rebounds, and 7 assists. The Bearcats blew out DePaul in the first round, as Oscar put up 29 points, 9 rebounds, and 12 assists. He dropped 43 points and 14 rebounds on Kansas, and 18 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists on California. But he shot 4 for 16 as Cincinnati lost in the Final Four again. He went off against NYU in a consolation game with 32 points, 14 rebounds, and 11 assists. In the summer, he played in the Olympics, and a lot of people declared this as the original Dream Team, as Oscar was teammates with Hall of Famers Jerry West, Jerry Lucas, and Walt Bellamy. They easily earned a gold medal, winning their games by an average of 42 points. Oscar didn't have to go far to start his pro career, as he was selected by the Cincinnati Royals with the top pick of the 1960 draft. The Royals actually gave up their first-round pick to make him a territorial selection. Cincinnati was essentially just existing, as they weren't a terrible team, but they certainly weren't title contenders. Oscar was called to resurrect this team. As he would later say, "The draft hurt me. I went to a team that was in disarray, and here I am coming out of school. I was player of the year, of course, but I had to carry them. I had to sacrifice my game to make us a unit." The Royals were coming off a 19-win season in 1959, but they still had some decent players like Jack Twyman, Wayne Embry, Bucky Bockhorn, and Phil Jordan. Oscar's career didn't start with a bang, rather a nuclear explosion, as he dropped 21 points, 12 rebounds, and 10 assists in his NBA debut. He basically did everything for this team, as some of his stat lines were just ridiculous, with 45 points, 12 rebounds, and 13 assists against Syracuse, and 39 points, 15 rebounds, and 18 assists against Philly. When it was all said and done, Oscar was 3rd in points, 13th in rebounds, and 1st in assists, recording a league-leading 26 triple-doubles. He easily won the Rookie of the Year and nearly dropped a triple-double in the All-Star game, walking away with the MVP. Jack was on the receiving end of a lot of Oscar's assists, as he averaged 25 points a game. Wayne was a sturdy anchor down low, also earning an All-Star appearance. Even with Oscar's Herculean performance, the Royals still had the worst defense in the league. Their 33-46 record meant their season ended early. Oscar's elite rookie year saw him average 31 points, 10 rebounds, and 9 assists. Oscar came into his sophomore season more motivated to lead his team to the playoffs. He really became the master of all trades, dropping 35 points, 15 rebounds, and 13 assists in the season opener. He also dropped 26 points, a career-high 22 rebounds, and 11 assists on Syracuse. Oscar set a new NBA record with 41 triple-doubles, a mark that would stand for over 50 years. He also broke the assist record set by Bob Cousy. He became only the 3rd player 6'5" or under to grab 900 rebounds in the season. But it wasn't just Oscar putting up numbers. Wayne had the best season of his career, while Bob Boozer and Adrian Smith were solid additions. The Royals scored 123 points a game, which was 2nd in the league, as their 43-37 record was good enough for 2nd in division. Oscar averaged 31 points, 13 rebounds, and 11 assists, becoming the first player to put up a triple-double for the entire season. The Royals faced the Pistons, and he dropped 24 points, 8 rebounds, and 13 assists in his playoff debut, but Cincinnati lost. He triple-doubled in Game 2, but the series was tied. He put up similar numbers in the next 2 games, but the Royals lost both to be eliminated. It was more the same in 1963, as Oscar had to carry this team again. He continued to stuff the stat sheet, dropping 30 points, 20 rebounds, and 13 assists on the Zephyrs, 22 points, 11 rebounds, and 19 assists on San Francisco, and 35 points, 17 rebounds, and 17 assists on the Celtics. He had 20 triple-doubles this year, while Tom Hawkins emerged as a solid reserve. Jack and Wayne were all-stars again, as the Royals finished 42-36, earning a date with Syracuse in the playoffs. Oscar averaged 28 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists, as he triple-doubled twice in this series, dropping 32 points, 19 rebounds, and 13 assists in the closeout Game 5. The Royals advanced to face the concrete wall that was the Boston Celtics, but they would give the C's all they had. The series went down to Game 7 in Boston. Oscar put up 43 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists, but it wasn't enough as the Celtics won by double digits. The Royals finally hit in the draft, selecting Jerry Lucas in 1963. His unique blend of outside scoring and tenacity on the boards was a huge boost to Cincinnati's title hopes. Oscar still continued to impact all areas of the box score, but his scoring would take a huge leap. He dropped 48 points, 7 rebounds, and 10 assists on Boston, 43 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists on Philly, and 48 points, 11 rebounds, and 14 assists on St. Louis. He finished 2nd in points, 1st in assists, and 1st in free throw percentage, capturing the MVP award. Jerry surprised everyone, leading the league in field goal percentage and finishing 3rd in rebounding. This Jack McMahon-led offense was an absolute unit, helping them win 55 games, a total that wouldn't be passed until 2001. Oscar averaged 31 points, 10 rebounds, and 11 assists, as the Sixers were their semifinal opponent. He dropped 31 points, 6 rebounds, and 16 assists in Game 1, and 32 points, 10 rebounds, and 18 assists in the series-clinching Game 5. They met Boston again, and their defense was suffocating, holding Oscar at just 39% shooting, and the Celtics easily won the series in 5. The Royals drafted Happy Harrison from NYU to strengthen their bench, as everyone had the same roles. Oscar dropped a career-high 56 points on the Lakers, and he dropped 28 points, 20 rebounds, and 16 assists on the Knicks, followed by 42 points, 21 rebounds, and 10 assists 2 games later. He led the league in minutes, assists, and free throws. As Adrian developed into a solid starter, Jerry was unbelievable in his second season, averaging 21 points and 20 rebounds. Cincinnati shot the highest field goal percentage, dished the most assists, and scored the most points, but they also committed the most fouls. 48 and 32 was still respectable, as Oscar averaged 30 points, 9 rebounds, and 12 assists. They faced the Sixers again, but this time they had Wilt. Oscar dropped 40 points and 13 assists in Game 2 to tie the series, but the Royals couldn't do anything with Wilt, as he dropped 38 points, 26 rebounds, and 5 assists in a close Game 5 win, eliminating Cincinnati. The Royals added Oscar's college teammate Connie Deerking, and they drafted sharpshooter John McLaughlin. Jerry assumed control of the boards, so Oscar would never rebound like he once did, but this left him more time to focus on his playmaking. He dropped 24 points, 8 rebounds, and 18 assists on Baltimore, 36 points, 11 rebounds, and 17 assists on the Knicks, and 44 points, 8 rebounds, and a career-high 22 assists on the Knicks again. Adrian had blossomed into an all-star, while Jerry averaged 22 points and 21 rebounds. A sophomore, Hairston was the only other double-figure scorer, but Cincinnati still won 45 games, with Oscar averaging 31 points, 8 rebounds, and 11 assists. They faced the Celtics in the semifinals, and while Oscar put up his numbers, he shot 40% for the series as the Royals lost a close Game 5 to get sent packing. The Royals had a very solid draft class in 1966, selecting Bob Love, Freddie Lewis, Flynn Robinson, and Walt Wesley. Cincinnati had essentially run Oscar into the ground for 6 years, and the effects were finally starting to show. He still had some amazing stat lines though, dropping 25 points, 6 rebounds, and 19 assists on the Lakers, 46 points, 5 rebounds, and 14 assists on the Knicks, and 28 points, 6 rebounds, and 17 assists on the Pistons. This was the first time in 3 years that he didn't lead the league in assists, placing second behind Guy Rogers. He was second in scoring too, but the Royals had regressed, finishing 39 and 42, their first losing season since 1960. They would still make the playoffs though, as Oscar averaged 31 points, 6 rebounds, and 11 assists. Cincinnati had another chance for revenge against Philly, and Oscar dropped 33 points and 16 assists in Game 1. But the Royals quickly lost their grip of the series, and Oscar had a rare lackluster performance in the closeout Game 4, with 12 points and 7 assists, shooting just .415 in the blowout loss. After 3 straight first-round exits, Jack McMahon resigned in the offseason, being replaced by Ed Jucker. The one position that the Royals were weak in was center, as their current front court couldn't do much with the Wilts, the Bill Russells, or the Nate Thurmans. They thought they drafted a possible solution in New Mexico's Mel Daniels, but he decided to join the brand new ABA. John Tresvant and Todd Bernardsdale were welcome additions though, as the 2 stars kept trudging along. Oscar had 8 triple-doubles this season, with his best being a 43-point, 12-rebound, and 11-assist performance against Detroit. Due to Wilt's insane offensive output throughout the early 60s, it took until year 8 for Oscar to win his first and only scoring title. He led the league in assists for the 5th time in his career, while Connie finally got major minutes, having a breakout season at age 31. The Royals were in the bottom half of the league in offense and defense, finishing 39 and 43, missing the playoffs for the first time since 1960, as Oscar averaged 29 points, 6 rebounds, and 10 assists. The Royals drafted Zaid Abdul-Aziz with the 5th pick in 1968, but it seemed like they missed on this one. Also, this was the year that Oscar finally began to decline, but he aged like fine wine, still contributing despite all the mileage on his body. He dropped 29 points, 7 rebounds, and 18 assists on Baltimore, 26 points, 14 rebounds, and 17 assists against Phoenix, and 23 points, 7 rebounds, and 20 assists on the Suns again. He led the league in assists for the final time, while Tom was on the verge of breaking out, averaging 19 points. Cincinnati slightly improved, but 41 and 41 still wasn't enough for the playoffs. Oscar averaged 25 points, 6 rebounds, and 10 assists. The Royals fans were growing tired of the mediocrity from the franchise, as Oscar was heading into year 10 and there was nothing to show for it. They finally shook things up, hiring Bob Cousy as their head coach. They acquired the underrated guard Norm Van Leer by trading Jerry to the Warriors for essentially nothing. They signed 36-year-old Jumpin' Johnny Green and drafted Herm Gilliam with the 8th pick. Oscar continued to put up his numbers, but they weren't really amounting to many wins. Bob noticed the fan support was decreasing, so the 41-year-old decided to suit up and play a few games, but this didn't really improve anything. This most likely just soured the relationship between he and Oscar, as although Tom made his all-star debut, and Johnny surprisingly led the league in field goal percentage, the Royals were stuck in purgatory as they only won 36 games. Oscar averaged 25 points, 6 rebounds, and 8 assists. The Royals shocked the basketball world in the summer of 1970, trading Oscar to the Bucks for Flynn Robinson and Charlie Paulk. Cincinnati never gave a reason for the trade, but many people felt like Bob was jealous of the attention that Oscar was getting. especially since he broke Bob's assist records multiple years back. Oscar himself said, "I think he was wrong and I will never forget it." If Oscar wasn't on the basketball court this summer, he was in the judicial court. As the president of the Players Association, they filed a suit against the league, and they delayed the merger between the NBA and the ABA for 6 years, by reforming the college draft and player contracts. Their reasoning was that the teams basically owned their players, as they were forbidden to talk to other teams once their contract was up. Drafted players won the right to snub their prospective employers for a year and re-enter the draft. In addition, teams were no longer required to provide compensation when signing a free agent. This encouraged more transactions and eventually led to higher salaries for all players. It also marked the beginnings of players getting a little more leverage, as free agency wouldn't fully exist until 1988. Oscar joined the dominant duo of Bob Dandridge and Lou Alcindor, as he was the veteran that this young team needed. He was still his old self, but he was on a more complete team. He had 3 triple-doubles, with his best being a 25-point, 10-rebound, and 14-assist performance against Detroit. Oscar was 3rd in assists and 2nd in free throw percentage, while Lou led the league in scoring, capturing the MVP award. This team was extremely well-rounded, ranking 1st in field goal percentage, assists, and points, while allowing the lowest field goal percentage and the 3rd fewest points. They even won the then NBA record 20 games in a row on their way to a 66-win season. For his first year in Milwaukee, Oscar averaged 19 points, 6 rebounds, and 8 assists. The Bucks blazed through the playoffs, only losing 2 games in the first 2 rounds. In their 3rd season of existence, they made the NBA Finals, facing the Bullets. While Kareem was unstoppable, Oscar was a great supporting piece, averaging 24 points, 5 rebounds, and 10 assists for the series, including 30 points and 9 assists on 11 of 15 shooting in Game 4, as Milwaukee completed the sweep. After 11 years, Oscar could finally call himself a champion.
There's the big Oscar, congratulations.
God, thanks, Jack.
Big win for you. What do you feel? Is this better than the days that you've seen?
Oh, this is great. It's great, Jack. Finally got it.
This is 11 years in coming, right?
A long time, Jack.
How do you feel?
Oh, I feel wonderful. Great victory. Had a great team game.
What about this team, Oscar? Is this a great ball club?
I think we're coming, Jack. First year I'm with the club. I think we're going to lose. Has to get much better. Great guy. Big fella.
Hey, Luke.
Big fella.
Luke, congratulations. Oscar just paid you a great compliment. You had a great series. Congratulations. He was a big help. He was a big help.
Listen, Oscar played a hell of a game today.
Oscar's knees were starting to bother him, but he powered through the pain for a chance to repeat. He started out swinging with 17 points, 9 rebounds, and 17 assists in the season opener. He also dropped 31 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists on the Pistons, and 33 points, 9 rebounds, and 9 assists on the Warriors. He ranked 7th in assists, earning the last All-Star nod of his career. Kareem led the league in scoring again, winning his 2nd straight MVP. As long as they had him, Milwaukee was a contender, as he finished with 63 wins. Oscar averaged 17 points, 5 rebounds, and 8 assists, as the Bucks faced Golden State in the semifinals. He put up his season averages in the series, and Milwaukee easily got past the Warriors in 5. The Lakers met them in the division finals, as the Kareem and Wilt matchup was intriguing. Oscar was unusually bad in this series, averaging just 9 points on 36% shooting, as LA beat Milwaukee in 6, so they wouldn't be a repeat champion this year. The Bucks didn't change anything except for replacing Greg Smith with Curtis Perry. Oscar continued to slow down, but he still had something left in the tank. He had 23 points, 9 rebounds, and 13 assists on the Cavs, 22 points, 10 rebounds, and 9 assists on the Pistons, and 25 points, 7 rebounds, and 12 assists on the Suns. Oscar was 4th in assists and 11th in free throw percentage, as Bob finally made his first All-Star team. Lucius Allen was developing into a solid starting point guard, and Milwaukee had their 3rd straight 60-win season, as Oscar averaged 16 points, 5 rebounds, and 8 assists. They faced the Warriors again in the semifinals, but this time, Rick Barry was back for the ABA, and things would be different. Oscar was turning back the clock, dropping 22 points, 12 rebounds, and 7 assists in Game 1, followed by 34 points and 8 assists on 77% shooting in Game 3. But these would be the Bucks' only 2 wins, as the Warriors beat them in 6 games, eliminating them a lot earlier than expected. 1973 would be Oscar's final season, with defensive stats finally being counted. His underrated work on that side of the ball can finally be quantified. He dropped 15 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists, and 5 steals against Phoenix, 20 points, 6 rebounds, 9 assists, and 6 steals against LA, and 13 points, 7 rebounds, and 17 assists against Houston. Even with his body breaking down, he was among the league's best, finishing 7th in assists. Kareem won his 3rd MVP in 4 years, while Lucius continued to improve. Outside of their big 4, nobody else averaged double figures, and Milwaukee failed to win 60 games, but 59 wins was still a lead. Oscar averaged 13 points, 4 rebounds, and 6 assists, as Milwaukee faced the Lakers in the semifinals. Oscar wasn't scoring like he used to, but he was still playmaking at a high level, averaging 10 assists in this series, as the Bucks beat them in 5. he averaged another double-double in the division finals against Chicago, and Milwaukee easily swept them. They faced the Celtics in the finals, as Oscar had a chance to win one more ring on his way out. This series would be a back-and-forth affair, as both teams split the first 4 games. He had his best performance of the series in Game 5, with 23 points and 6 assists, but the Bucks lost at home and were facing elimination in Boston. This game went to double overtime, but Milwaukee was able to escape with a win, forcing a Game 7 in Milwaukee. Oscar had a rough showing, dropping just 6 points on 2 of 13 shooting, as the Celtics were up by 13 at halftime. The Bucks brought it down to 5 by the 4th quarter, but Boston never relinquished the lead, and they celebrated a championship in hostile territory. With that loss, the legendary career of the Big O was over. His post-NBA life was mainly out of the spotlight, although he had a couple stints as a color commentator. His jersey number was retired by the Kings, the Bucks, and he currently has a 9-foot statue outside of his alma mater. Oscar Robertson was a jack of all trades, but he was actually a master of all of them as well. He exemplified the meaning of versatility, as he averaged 30 points in 6 of his first 7 seasons, and the only guard to average over 10 rebounds until Westbrook. His 181 triple-doubles were an NBA record for over 50 years, and he was the first player to actually lead the league in scoring and assists. He accomplished all of this without any fancy moves, as he was so fundamentally sound. He had a counter for every defensive trick, and he seemed to have eyes in the back of his head at times. He was dominant in Cincinnati, but he learned how to win in Milwaukee. But he wasn't just a player. He was someone who advocated for his peers and led the charge in player autonomy, as the current players who are getting multi-million-dollar deals can thank Oscar for laying the foundation. Thank you guys, really appreciate y'all for the support. Man, this dude was such a legend. When you put up a triple-double in your first NBA game, oh wow, this is just too easy for you. This dude was just made to play basketball. He was able to navigate those strict dribbling rules. He was able to dominate from the jump. And plus, like, I just love watching Westbrook break those records, because I know people hate on Westbrook today. I don't understand it, man. He's one of the best point guards ever. Seeing the Big O at NBA games today, too, is still pretty cool. That, he's still out here supporting the sport. He's still out here being outside. But, shout out to Oscar Robertson, one of the best players of all time. And thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate y'all. Leave a like if you enjoy. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to my channel. Turn on my post notifications if you haven't already. Thank you. Please be safe. I'm out. Peace.